Hello viewers, my name is Martin Drix Mieshi and welcome to my perspective, whereby this week on Perspective Mtaani, I will be focusing on audio and sound engineering and mastering, whereby my guest tonight is none other than producer Shunkyz, who has been working over the years with different prominent artists, international and also locally. Not forget, he has worked with General Defao, he has worked with Mose Fan, and he has worked with many more, including Kidum and Nyota Ndogo, just to mention a few. Don't touch that dial. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's called Drix Production. And also, don't forget to like my page on Facebook. It's called Dr. Drix. Don't touch that dial, and I hope you do enjoy. Tighten your seatbelt.
My name is producer Shunkyz. Literally, I'm a music producer. I'm an audio engineer by profession and an event consultant and also equipment consultant. So in short, I do so much. I've been in the music industry for close to 12-13 years, if I'm not wrong. And I'm based in Nairobi. The studio is located along Manyanja Road next to Naivas supermarket in Dono. Actually, I started music production when I was still in school, and thereafter I joined. The first good music studio that I joined was called Milambo, which was located in Kisumu United Mall. And then when I left there, I went to Mombasa. Mombasa was working under Kelele Records. It was a German. It was owned by a German, and this is the guy who shaped me, who connected me with good sound engineers from Germany that mentored me for close to over a year plus. And that's when now I started doing music production professionally. Thereafter, I went to TZ, Pro Art Studios. It's located in Mbezi, and just next to Mbezi Beach, Dar es Salaam. And thereafter, came back to Mombasa, was working with House of Grace Production. And then after that, in 2012, I decided to move to Nairobi. And that was where my career took a different turn. I joined Onward Studios. That's where I recorded the likes of Baba Nomba Kiboleke, the likes of Florence Andenyi, and I think and many more. Then in 2015, I joined the great Ketable Music, where now I was working under Tabo Susa, and through Tabo Susa, he really helped me to connect with the rest now of the world. And since then, I think since 2015, I think I've worked with the greatest artist ever. The late Papa Lolo, that is Mose Fan, Fiston Lusambo is there, General Defao, now the late Nzayadio, Bosi Bosiana, Mbili Abel, Ahmed Jan Olomide. That's where I met the likes of Titina Al Capone, Kokorama. So it has really been a good journey. It has really been a journey. I don't know. I think after Ketable Music, I moved to Masterclef Studios that was located in Langata. Also in this other side of the local scene, the likes of in Luo, the likes of John Jr., Dola Kabari, those legends. You know what I mean. So throughout this journey, I've really build vast experience in what I do, and I think it has been a good journey.
Kindly elaborate what is music production or sound engineering, basically for a layman to understand.
When I started music production, I realized that in Kenya, we had very, very few music studios that were offering professional live music recording. And since then, because that I've been a lover of sound, I've really invested my knowledge when it comes to on music production and live sound engineering, and that's something that I had a lot of passion on. And throughout this period, I can say that almost 50% of the projects that I've been working on are live, and that's why most of Congolese musicians, both that are within and also that come out of the country, they find it comfortable working with me because of the name that I've built and because of the knowledge that I've acquired throughout this period when it comes to live production. And I also do, I'm also good in sequencing, which I also do a lot. But generally, I'm an audio engineer. So be it live recording, be it programming, I do all that, and I believe my projects are really, can really tell a lot if you listen to my projects.
As a layman, can you just explain to me what happens from meeting a client to having a song?
The moment you show interest in working with me, I take you as my own. I take you all as my project. So I start from advising you. I start from listening to the kind of music that you have. I go deeper into your message, both the inner message and the outer message. I go into your music arrangement. Then after that, I look at your general composition, and if whatever you want to produce is something that can also fit the current market, then thereafter now we start the production. So production generally entails from beat making to recording to mixing, mastering, and throughout this process, it's not something that you can do within 1 day, 2 days, and you are done. I take proper time doing your recordings. I take proper time doing your mix. You have good time to listen to your music, because the more you listen to it, the more you get mistakes and all that, and we correct them as we continue. Thereafter, we do the mastering. Now, mastering, we can even do up to 2 different masters or 3, and then from there, we decide on which one to go with. And even with the mixing, sometimes we can even do up to 2 to 3 mixes, and then we decide on which one to go with. So, for you to get a proper music production, it needs time, and also it needs patience.
Okay, there are always those things you have to consider before starting any production or any job with your client. Kindly elaborate to us, what are the things you consider first before starting any production?
So mostly we advise, with me I advise an artist depending on his or her genre of music and his target audience. Because first, as an artist, you must know your target audience. So mostly I tend to understand whatever your target is, because once I know your target audience, then we know the kind of music that you're supposed to go with, and how it's supposed to be packaged, and the kind of elements that are supposed to be there for you to reach your audience, the kind of choices of words, the choices of message, and things like that. So mostly I take my time to advise most artists on that, and once before I give you your final project, I always give more advices on the way forward, which is now the publishing part of it. I don't just produce and give you a song and then I'm done with it. No. Before I give you a song, I have to take you through the publishing aspect so that you understand and then you know the way to go about it.
Okay, tell us, what are some of the challenges you always undergo when dealing with the recording artists, and also when recording them? All those do's and don'ts. Kindly take us across them.
There are so many challenges. There are so many challenges. You know, nowadays it's not like, you know, those early days, the analog days, you could not go to the studio when you're not prepared. An artist could not go to the studio when you're not prepared, because producers were depending much on their ears, and because being that there were no computers, it was a take and go thing. So which means the old band, mostly the old band had to do proper trainings. But nowadays, with the computer, you find that somebody can come to the studio with probably 2 lines of the song. and then you find that probably it's something that even it's written, it's out of, as in you find it completely not in line musically, and so such kind of thing, you will not turn that person down, but you have to take that person through. So sometimes you end up going to an extent of doing the arrangement with them, doing the rearranging the music, the compositions and everything, changing the message and all that, because you just don't want to release anything. And so you find that those are the kind of challenges. Another thing is that the challenges are so many, but the main one that probably I'll focus on right now is just on the artist side. Sometimes you find a client who he has no clue about music at all, but he only has passion in music, but vocally probably is not good and all that. But so you find that you have to take him through again and again and again and again. So you find that probably a project can even take you 2 to 3 months sometimes before you finish it up, because you just don't want to release something that is not of good in the end. But then again, you find that in Kenya, the problem is that in Kenya, the royalty thing is still not strong, and so most of producers will depend on walk-ins, campaign project. But then you realize that now the most talented artists probably also are not good financially, and so you realize that it's really a challenge. So if you only depend on those that come, pay and go, then you end up producing and not getting good contents that can go outside. Because those that are more talented, most of them also, they lack finances. So sometimes you find that you have to uplift them, you have to pick them up. And throughout that period that you're recording and doing all these things, remember you have the bills to pay and all that, but the music is still not making money. By the time music starts to make money, probably it's almost a year later, you find that it's a huge expenses. But at the end of it, you have to do it because we also understand the Kenyan industry.
Kindly tell me, what is good music? In your own words, what is good music? Some people would love to know, I want to produce a good music. Kindly elaborate in your own words and definition of a good music quality.
To me, a good composition is simple lyrics, simple music, not complicated. Simple lyrics, simple music, not complicated. You don't complicate music, and then you just be creative. You don't use a lot of words, strong words that audience will not relate with easily. So a good music comes from good composition, good choice of words, arrangement, and then delivering on your vocals, and then now the good sound engineer that now will do magic on the song. That's all.
What's your favorite music?
As a producer, I listen to everything. Because you never know which client is going to walk in. And one thing that I'll never want to do is when an artist walks in and then you say that no, I can't do this. It has never gone with me. So I always listen to music, and when I'm alone, mostly I will do different style of music, because also it depends on the clients that you get. But on my free time, probably I make music that I don't receive, receive the clients as such, the clients that do those kind of genres. So I do more practice on those other music that I don't get such and so that anytime that I meet such kind of clients that do those specific kind of genres of music, I don't struggle. But I listen to all kind of music.
Have you ever recorded gengeton? And if not, what's your message about their composition and their kind of music?
I've not recorded gengeton, but that is the current one. But you see, genge started a long time ago. Yeah. But I can remember in 2008, those days when the likes of Juakali, Major, Kinrezi, you remember those days, when genge was genge then, okay? But you realize that those days that I used to work on several projects for the genge style. But currently, no, I have not been much into genge, but I do listen gengeton. But I do listen to their projects. The only problem that I have with the current gengeton style of music is the choice of words. That's all. The only problem I have with them is the choice of words. But the The music, the melody and everything, fantastic. But the only problem is the choice of words. They are not sensitive to other level of age groups, to other age groups. They are not sensitive to that. And if only they can be sensitive to that, then we are good to go. Because I think that is the only music that right now Kenyans are being identified with.
That was it this week on Perspective Mtaani, whereby we were focusing on sound recording and sound engineering. Our master tonight was none other than Shunkyz himself, a sound engineer, and he was giving us do's and don'ts in production, music production, and what it takes to be a musician or a sound engineer. Don't touch that dial. See you next week for another episode. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's called Drix Production. And also, don't forget to like my Facebook channel and Facebook page. It's called Dr. Drix. See you when you see me. Bye-bye.